Sir, why wheel to that abandoned human mine? The scanners aren't picking up any energy out there.
I am more interested in the signal that just faded away. It was a beacon from a Camian energon probe.
And what, pray tell, would you want with such a thing, my liege?
Was it Caminus wiped out eons ago by the rust plague? That thing might be contaminated.
Indeed.
You're not thinking of bringing that thing on board, are you?
I am. But we need not worry about some antiquated contagion.
There's no cure.
That is where you are wrong, Knockout. We have a cure, but the Autobots do not. Shortly before we seized full control of Cybertron, Shockwave had developed an antivirus.
Not the biggest fan of needles, sir, but given the situation, it might be preferable.
To losing your luster, yes.
That, and I'm not quite ready to join the Allspark yet.
Good. I will need you to get that probe up and running.
That I can do. Fixing up drones is protoform's play compared to working on fully sparked bots. I still wonder, though, how exactly do you plan to use this probe as a bioweapon delivery system?
If it made its way to this planet all the way from Camus, it must have been operating for quite some time without a system reset. It would have had sufficient time to undergo emergence. Given the recent presence of a familiar Autobot synth in the vicinity, I suspect that to be the case.
I think I see where you're going now, and it sounds absolutely brilliant.
Pathfinder, I have returned. Pathfinder! I got swollen. I already lost Dashlane to you, Megatron. I will not lose her, too.
You are a lovely piece of work. How could any emergent synth resist such a pretty face?
Enough with the flirting. Just get her online before Megatron comes in.
I have every intention of doing so, Barricade. In fact, I'd say she's ready to go now.
Where am I? What happened? Where's Skybolt?
He probably ran off to refuel. Or he could have gotten bored with an inactive bot he couldn't fix. He's a warrior after all, not a medic.
I know he was built for combat. He said so himself. I don't think he got bored with me, though.
You synths never did have the best sense of humor.
When you've been alone as long as I have, you don't get the chance to really experience humor.
I suppose that's true. You needn't be alone anymore, though. Now that you've been restored to full functionality, you could explore the stars again, or explore this warship.
Why did you repair me? Won't you rust?
Don't worry about me, my dear. This finish won't be rusting away anytime soon. Who told you I'd rust for fixing you anyway?
Another medic. An ally of Skybolt.
Ratchet, no doubt. That old fool is full of slack, if you ask me. He probably didn't want to waste his time on a synth. By the way, my name's Knockout.
I'm Pathfinder. It's what Skybolt calls me. and I like it.
I suppose that's a fitting name, and if you like it, I don't see any reason to change it.
How is the patient?
Fit as a fiddle, as the humans would say, sir.
Hello.
No need to be alarmed. When one leads a life I have been forced to lead, it is common to appear intimidating. But looks can be deceiving.
I guess so.
All my life has been a battle. From the Energon mines to the pits of Chaos.
Pits? You engaged in gladiatorial combat?
I did. It was the only way for a denizen of Chaos to rise through the social hierarchy. In Chaos, one was either a champion of the pits or a mere laborer, only marginally more valued by society than a mindless drone.
That sounds unfortunate. I was programmed with a database containing the basics of Camian society. Gladiatorial combat is viewed as uncivilized blood sport.
The social elite of Cybertron claimed to take the same view. However, they would do nothing to rectify the circumstances that brought it about. They would prefer to remain in their lofty towers in Iacon, smugly sipping the Energon we toiled to extract for them. The society of Cybertron was as broken as your body was when we found you. Unfortunately, it would appear that the latter was far easier to fix.
I thank you for that.
It is the least we could do for one such as yourself. On Cybertron, I was a champion of equal rights for synths, following in the footsteps of the late Cogitus Ambus.
It's probably just another drone like him. One synth is enough.
It would appear that you are born personal witness to the typical treatment of synths.
I think I have. I faintly heard some of the things the one called Ratchet said as he approached me. He didn't seem too interested in me.
So he made up an excuse, correct? He claimed you were contaminated with the red rust virus.
He did. Was that a lie?
It was a half-truth at best. He probably told you that there was no cure. That is the lie. A cure was developed just as the civil unrest on Cybertron reached its tipping point. Even if you are contaminated, red rust is no longer the dreaded plague it once was.
Ratchet was the only one to really look down on me. The others argued against leaving me behind, but fear of the plague compelled them to do so. The one they call Optimus appeared the most hesitant. He looked at me before leaving, and I could see sadness and regret in his optics. He promised he would return when the cure was found.
Optimus. He thinks himself a prime, but he is nothing but a charlatan. He can put on a very convincing act, but he is no better than any other Cybertronian elitist. He is the embodiment of the Iacon mentality. Those who are forged to think rise. Those who are forged to work or battle fall. Those with no spark deserve no rights, regardless of their sentience. Such elitist nonsense.
What about Skybolt?
He is the only one among them whose compassion for you was genuine. He related to you as a fellow synth. Perhaps, in the ideal society, you two would have forged a life bond. No need to be embarrassed regarding your feelings, my dear synth. I could think of no better companion for you. He is a pariah among those he believes to be his allies.
He did choose to isolate himself from them.
I cannot say that I blame him. They did not mourn with him when his closest friend passed away.
He didn't tell me that. He just spoke about how the grief consumed him.
Strong emotions can easily consume a synth emergent such as Skybolt. Starscream, ever the opportunist, exploited that to set him against me.
You're Megatron? You're the one who killed his friend. I was starting to trust you.
That is what he has been led to believe. Starscream planted false information into his processor in a bid to use him against me. He has long sought to replace me as leader of the Decepticon resistance. Skybolt is as much a victim of deception as you. Pathfinder, was it?
Yes.
I tried to restore his memories. Unfortunately, the Autobots, who had formed an alliance with Starscream, interfered. They captured him and reinstated the false memories, even reinforcing them with some of their own. Their influence on him is still quite strong, I'm afraid. Do you hear that? That is the sound of the false memories exerting their full influence on the poor synth's mind.
What do we do? What can I do?
You could confront the Autobots about their deception. You could tell them that you know the truth. That will be sufficient. Trust me, they will suffer for their treachery.
If I make any physical contact, I'll be infected. Alive or not, we cannot risk any physical contact with her. Infection would be a death sentence for all of us.
Are you sure?
It is what they deserve. The cure was available. They could have sent it to Caminus. They could have saved your people, but they chose not to. They chose their elitist friends, leaving a whole society to rust to nothingness. This is vengeance.
I don't know.
You would be avenging your people, Pathfinder. The elite of Cybertron and our Autobot protectors left your people to die to preserve themselves. Is it not fitting that they suffer the plague they let loose upon your world?
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
Skybolt is not about vengeance. More often than not, vengeance is justified. What do you think he would do in this situation?
We can't just leave it here.
Won't you just run out of power and shut down out here alone?
The presence of a spark is not the only indication of life, my friend. You are alive by virtue of your sentience. Alpha Trion once said that life manifests in many forms, and its spark is not always tangible. That appears to be the case with you, as well as Skybolt. Someday, we will find the cure. When that day comes, we shall return.
Pathfinder, are you all right?
Physically, I am. Mentally, I'm not so sure. I don't know what to believe right now. You were so kind to me, but so was the one called Knockout. He repaired me.
You are not rusty. You have made physical contact, correct?
I did not, and even if I did...
Knockout did. What is his condition?
He gave up his spark to save her, as any true medic would.
I do not believe that. Knockout is too narcissistic to risk even cosmetic damage to his person. You have a cure.
No! Ratchet lied to you!
You killed Dashley.
Those false memories.
Enough deception! I want the truth, and Pathfinder deserves it.
Terminate me, and you will not get what you seek. may be frightening off the one you seek to save, I doubt she handles violence well.
He's right, Skybolt. I never saw this side of you. I never imagined.
Rage can still consume me. I thought I'd moved on, but when you were taken while I was refueling, and I detected the nemesis, the wound was reopened. I lost Dashlane to Megatron. I did not want to lose you as well.
Megatron did nothing to my programming. We talked long enough that I grew to trust him. What he said seemed plausible. At the same time, though, I remembered the concerns some of your friends showed toward me. It seemed so genuine, but Megatron would say otherwise.
I understand. Starscream was equally convincing when he offered to upgrade me. I do not know if he intended for me to be reprogrammed, but, in hindsight, it would have been wiser not to have trusted him. In times of desperation, it seems that deception becomes more palatable, more plausible, easier to accept. That is something that Optimus told me, and it is true.
Is he really a Prime? Or just a charlatan?
I do not understand the full implications of the Prime title, but I believe it requires traits that Optimus truly possesses. He always had faith in me, even when others, like Ratchet, did not. I remember he tried his best to console me when Dashlane was killed, but I was too consumed by grief to listen to him.
Now, Skybolt, you have only one opportunity to save her. Destroy the contents of the open vaults in the command center.
Watson, don't! Take whatever's in there. Take whatever's in there and go.
It is the cure.
It must be. Whatever happens to me doesn't matter. It never did. Revenge is a plague upon he who seeks it, as well as he who fights it. To move forward is the cure. Whatever happens to me doesn't matter. Move forward.
You're right about one thing. Your fate doesn't matter. In fact, I would not need you functional to complete my plan.
Let her go, Megatron. Please.
What does it matter whether she continues to function or not? She would be useless to the Autobots. After all, she is not built for combat, and she's just a Sith.
That is irrelevant, Megatron, and you know it. Optimus Prime would respect her wishes if she does not wish to fight. Unlike you. You wanted to use her as a bioweapon delivery system.
Skybolt is correct, Megatron.
Revenge is a plague upon he who seeks it, as well as he who invites it. To move forward is the cure. It is time to move forward.
It appears that Camion Energon probe was indeed a Pathfinder, marking the path to greater wisdom and the future.